Hi and welcome to Nimble.handmade. My name is Pia and I'm coming to you from Belgium. I would like to take you on a trip through my yarny adventures of the past 2 weeks and show you what I finished, what's still on my needles, and give you some updates on the workshops. So grab yourself something to drink, maybe a project, and let's dive in. First, I would like to speak about what I am wearing. This is the Faux Granny Cardigan. It's a design I developed for Knotten in the Netherlands, which is a large yarn store specialized in Lana Grossa yarns. So very, very nice and luxurious yarns. This one is the prototype I made for myself, and it's made in kid silk, all small leftover balls of kid silk, which I crocheted into squares. They are all attached to one another, so there is very few seams to close, and also very few ends to weave in. I'm not the kind of person that likes to weave in ends. Maybe you can relate to that. Um, so I wanted to develop some technique to make them all disappear. But it's all written down in a pattern. I don't know if the kit is still available at Knotten, but I can link the pattern in the description box below. So if you would like to make it, it's really nice to wear, and it's a simple project which can be done with leftovers as well. The next thing I want to talk to you about is also a granny project. Let me see. It was almost finished last week, but now it's entirely finished except for the lining. But it's my granny bag. I made this for my scrumptious challenge. Last year I set myself the goal of using up one box of scrumptious yarn, which has about 3 kilometers of yarn in it. I didn't make it due to illness, but I'm just continuing on this year, and this is one of the projects. So I already made a blanket, which means that I don't have much left over of all the colors, and I needed to, um, well, uh, I I wanted to make similar granny squares, but I didn't have um, enough yarn in the same colors for all the granny squares, and certainly not for all the borders, the, the border at the top. So what I did is I divided it in color groups. All the yarn was divided in color groups, and I used the same sequence when using the yarns. So I had a color group which was like purples, and I had a green one and a brown one, and I used them in the same order. So none of it is the same, but it's similar, and that gives a bit of cohesion to the project. But you can use anything you like, of course. I have attached the bands here. These are bands that I bought at a fair. They are made by Bobini. And the funny thing is that, well, they're just a leather strap, but here they close with a screw. So when you just screw it on, and if you want to, you can use it for another project as well. You just need a screwdriver, and then you can reuse these handles. This one, as per request of many of you, which I appreciate dearly, will be turned into a pattern, but first of all it will be a workshop. I will be giving a workshop of this bag at Wolstory, which is a store in Mechelen, Belgium, and we will go through everything that concerns the granny square. Now you can say, well, a granny square is a granny square. That's true, but I want to learn you or teach you some techniques that make a difference. So that make it more neat, make it a real square, make it easily manageable, because I don't like to weave in ends, as I said, uh, and I don't want you to either. So for example, a granny square like this only has 2 ends to weave in with my technique. These are all the things we learn during the workshop. You can do it as a beginner because I start from scratch, and the yarn is available at store too. You get 10% off on the yarn when you buy it there. So as soon as the date is known, it will be in April, I will let you know. If you subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell, then you will be the first to hear. The second project I wanted to talk about is my Soul Soothing Squares blanket. I started this intentionally. So I had the intention to use up some acrylic yarns that I have in stash, in large stash. So I wanted to participate in the make along for the Spring Forward blanket by Scapius and Handmade Posts. But although I think knitting with scrumptious yarn is quite okay, I don't like to knit with acrylic yarn. I had kind of forgotten that, and that's why I have started a new project, which is my granny square blanket, and I call it the Soul Soothing Square blanket because that's kind of what it is. So when I'm not feeling that well, I have this big basket of yarn, and I just come up here. I pick out the colors. It's also in a color sequence, and I put them in a small basket like this, and then I take them downstairs and make a square. And it's a no-brainer. It's soothing for the brain, which is what I need sometimes. So I have made some of the squares already. I think I might have shown some of them last time. I'm just gonna show them again. And as you can see, I use the same principle. So there is a color sequence going from the yellows to the pinks, some blue, some green. And well, oops. I I'm curious to find out if it works well in a blanket. So I hope for next time that I have enough squares to lay out on the floor or on the table so that I can make a picture to have an idea what it will look like in the end. I will connect them with one color, so that would be a beige, I think, and then the border would be in beige as well, so something very neutral. But that's, well, we'll see if it all works out. And then I'm just gonna peek at my computer. The next project is also a colorful project, and that's my Advent scarf. Last time I showed it to you, and it wasn't finished yet. It's not finished now, just a few a few more rows, but I wasn't able to do them anymore. The rows at the end of the shawl, it's a triangular scarf. They are huge, of course, and that's why I haven't finished it yet. But this is what it looks like. So I took the Advent from Het Wolbeest, which is a dyer in the Netherlands, and I combined it with some of her mohair yarns. And as you can see, this was the color number 24. And then I started again from the beginning for the last colors. And the border is, of course, in one color. And well, one color. The main color is now used for the lace parts. It's kind of scrunchy now, but I will block it, of course, because it's a lace scarf and lace blooms when you block it. And then I hope that it's all smoothed out and flat. And well, I'm as curious as you are to see how it all ends. The pattern for this, I forgot to say, is the True Colors by Melanie Berg. She has a lot of very beautiful patterns and it's very well written. I really enjoy knitting this pattern. I'm almost sad it's finished, but nevertheless, I look forward to wearing it because I think on a dark color like something navy blue or black or brown will give it some flourish. And of course, you can wear it throughout spring because of the vibrant colors. So I'm looking forward to wearing it. And then the next one is quite a chunk. So what I do is when I almost end a main project, which was my Advent scarf, I start up a new project. Not the project itself, but the gauge swatch. And I bought some yarn last year, together with the yarn for my Christian sweater. Uh, so the Christian sweater is made with Letlopi, and I also bought Letlopi. No, I also bought Plötulopi, which comes in plates. I had never heard of it. I'm just gonna show you. Ooh. So this is a yarn plate, and the yarn itself is also Icelandic wool. It's also the dual coat, which I explained earlier. So you have the Icelandic sheep, they have a fleece, and then on top of that, they have these hairs that are sticking out, um, guard hairs, um, with which they lead the moisture from the rain and the snow away from their fleece. Now, when it's spun, it's of course um, the fleece plus the hairs, which makes that this yarn is not even spun. The hairs make sure that an unspun yarn can be knit as it is, but it's not very sturdy. I can show you. This didn't, I didn't pull hard to, to pull it apart. But when you knit it, the fabric is okay, and there is nothing going wrong because you have knit all the hairs together. Um, However, I started a swatch for um, the sweater number 20 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. And this is a swatch for 10 centimeters of width. It's ridiculous, of course. This is about 15 to 20 centimeters. So I thought about going down a needle size, but my Christian is knit very tightly, and it's okay, but it gives quite a dense fabric, and that's for a sweater that is knit. Well, it's knitted around, but the fabric is flat. When you go for cables or texture, then your fabric gets thicker. That's the intention of uh, the texture or the cables, to get a thicker fabric with by knitting yarn. Now, this didn't work out, of course. It's way too big. Going down a needle size wasn't really what I was intending. So I tried knitting with one strand, but that's quite hard and quite fragile. Two strands is not so fragile, and well, it so the gauge swatch with one strand didn't work out, of course. So I was on the lookout for other yarn, and of course I made myself a promise not to buy much more yarn this year. So I dove into my stash and I did retrieve this. It's the Novita Isoveli, which is in fact a sock yarn, but a thick sock yarn, because it's 130 meters on 100 grams, and you knit it with a US 8 or 10, which is a 5 to 6 millimeter needle here in Europe. It's not the color that I wanted, but the color, um, the good thing about the color is that brown is going to be high fashion during the next winter. So I'm already prepared for that. Um, this yarn was intended at first to make the tundra sweater, which is a pattern that is published by Novita itself. And I tried to make it, but because I thought it was a very nice, warm cardigan that you could throw over or in spring or in autumn to go out, or that you could wear in the house when the heating is still coming on or something. But it didn't work out the way I wanted it to. I was in between sizes, so I started to make some adjustments, and the adjustments kept coming. And then when I tried it on, it just, well, it didn't fit me right, because when you knit in garter stitch only, it's kind of a sturdy fabric, and it was hanging on me like a plate. So no, I didn't. I didn't like it, so I ripped it all back, which was a lot of work as well. And now it will be reused for the sweater number 20. My favorite things knitwear doesn't have names for her garments. She has a lot of beautiful designs, and she numbers them. I think it's kind of impersonal, but then again, I think, yeah, that maybe that's her intention, to stand out between all the people that will have names for their designs. So, well, I'm looking forward to knitting one of her patterns. It's a first for me, but I will, of course, keep you updated. And then the last project I have is, let me just take a look, the Magnolia Bloom sweater by Camilla Watt. Now, this is a pattern that I had in mind for a very long time already, but I didn't yet know which yarn to use. And it turns out that it works with the Pletulopi that I wrongly bought. Um, and I'm really looking forward to making it. I made the mistake of making a gauge swatch knitted flat instead of knitting it in the round. But it will work out for me. I knit continentally. I have been knitting that way my entire life. And I have my own method for making the purl stitches. So normally when you knit flat, you of course knit a row and then purl a row. And the purl stitches, for most people, they are sometimes larger than the knit stitches, sometimes smaller than the knit stitches. There's most of the time there's a tiny difference, which is not the case for my knitwear. So anyway, I will stick to this gauge swatch, which was okay for the project, and well, I'm looking forward to making the Magnolia Bloom sweater, because yeah, I wear my Christian sweater all the time. It's just, well, it's as if there is a temperature, a heating, how do you call that? Um, um, well, when you wear it, you're never cold or never too hot. It's like there is a regulator in it. So I presume that's what the sheep have when they are wearing their coat. So it's really nice to wear, and you can go outside. It's February here, so it's still cold, um, but it's not. And even if it's freezing, but not much below 0 degrees, it's uh, it's still wearable outside and inside as well. So I wanted to make a sweater with a similar yarn still this winter to wear, and as an addition to my wardrobe. But anyway, I have two now. So I might, I don't know which one I will make first. I think the cable sweater will be nice as well. But anyway, we'll see what gets finished first. And you can always leave me a comment to let me know what you would like to see made first. And then it won't be a problem for me. It will be a no-brainer for me. Anyway, I think we have come to the final part. That's for me to tell you about the workshop of the sugar spikes shawl. It's a Tunisian crocheted shawl, and I will be giving that workshop at Wool Story in Mechelen. Even if you are English speaking, when you let me know that I will have to do it in 2 languages, that's no problem at all. So any information on the workshop itself can be found on the website of Wool Story. You can buy the yarns with her. You It's the end of the podcast. You'll get 10% off of all the yarns that you buy for the workshop. You can park there for free on the Nikkerhal. It's also indicated on the website if you go to contact how you can reach Wall Study easily and park for free. The first date, which is next week, the 11th of February, is completely booked, but we still have some spots available for the 22nd. And yeah, of course, the pattern will come out after the workshop. So if you just want to have the pattern, then of course you can stay tuned. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and then you will be the first to know. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching this, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!